This weekend on the original Rochester Press Box.
I'm Steve Hausmann from the B Morning Coffee Club. You don't like the idea of Kansas City against the National League in the All-Star Game? Wait till you hear my idea.
I'm Tariq Spence from WDKX Wake Up Club. When a general manager says they did a great job and his team won 17 games, I'll tell you why it's crazy.
And I'm Mike Catalana. I will tell you, sometimes just leave the kids home.
And I'm Bill Pucko, what we should have done to Jose Tabata. Join us this weekend on the original Rochester Press Box. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the original Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko, joined this week by Tariq Spence, who's sitting in for John DiTullio and sort of our Brock Holt, because you were over there last time.
Yeah, I'll move around any place to get in.
Well, we appreciate you back in here, Tariq. Thank you very much. Co-hosting Mike Catalana, welcome back.
Good to be here.
Steve Hausmann from the B Morning Coffee Club back with us. It's been a while.
I love Brock Holt, by the way, just to let you know. Love Brock Holt.
That was for you. Hey, look, Stevie, we've been slapping Pete Rose around now for this whole gambling thing for it's almost 30 years. And today, we're no closer, it doesn't seem to me, to resolution to this issue than we were back then.
I heard someone suggesting that why doesn't the Hall of Fame just put asterisks on everybody's name and just let him in? Pete Rose, all-time hit leader, but. I mean, just let him go. Let him in the Hall of Fame. And years from now, he had Hall of Fame numbers. He's a Hall of Fame ball player. Let's just be honest about it and let him in, but with an asterisk. For everybody. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, the whole crowd.
You see, and Rose is the easiest one because Rose is right there. I mean, it's virtually factual.
Yeah.
The other guys, no tests, no the rest of that stuff, and that's a problem. Why do we care about the Pete Rose thing so much for so long?
It is funny. You say we care, and we do, but there's a certain age group that could care less. I had to almost explain to some guys who Pete Rose really was. I mean, they just have heard the name for so many years. I think I'm going to disagree in this fact. Before I was thinking, maybe, let the old guy in there. He finally came around, whatever. But hearing that he gambled while he was playing, too, and I'm tired of hearing people say, well, he was gambling on his own team. He's gambling on the game. Like, I understand that the steroid thing is cheating the game and stuff, but the truth is we don't know how much guys did, when they did it, who was doing it, how many guys were. We do know this guy was gambling when he played and when he managed. And in that way, I would say you could put something about him in the Hall of Fame. Now I don't want him in there.
No bust?
No, I don't think he deserves it. I mean, that should be rule number one of the game, and it is in baseball.
It's right there.
Do not bet on baseball, and he bet on baseball.
It's hard because I think we all see him getting older, and I think there's this feeling that maybe baseball will let him in after he passes away. But, I mean, what do you do now to anybody who's ever taken a performance-enhancing drug? What do? You eventually let them in as well? The Hall of Fame has turned into the Hall of Very, Very Good. And that's because they're not sure what to do with these players. Here's a great player, all-time hits, Mr. Hustle, but he did something to destroy the fabric of the game, and you never really want to reward that guy. And to reward him would be put him in the Hall of Fame. And if you do that, that means everybody from the steroid era is getting in.
Would you be surprised at all if you heard at some point someone came forward and said, Rose owed money and he threw a game?
Boy.
That would not stun me. When you have a guy who's in the hole that much to people who can threaten you. So this idea that we're going to believe that Pete Rose always bet on his team and was always on the up and up and was just trying his best to try to win. I don't buy any of that with him. I think he's a liar. He's an addict for gambling, and I don't believe anything about him. So I think he's different than the steroid.
And the sad thing is you go out to Cooperstown and you see him signing autographs right across from the Hall of Fame. He's just shilling himself out. You feel bad for the guy.
Except that's what's made him bigger. Because if he'd have gotten in the Hall of Fame 20 years ago, he would have been just like a lot of Hall of Famers. He's that other guy. I've been in Las Vegas. I've been walking in a mall. There he is, sitting in the store, not looking up, signing autographs.
But if he admitted it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, put every bit of everything he did on the table, would we have forgiven him by now? That's the ultimate thing. We always find a way to forgive. If he had just left no stone unturned, I did all of this, let it all out, put it in a book, whatever, would he be in the Hall of Fame by now? Would we be giving him that second chance or third or fourth.
I think he would have had a chance, but this is why I say now comes out that it looks like that he bet while playing. So you'd be really surprised.
It always has legs.
Yeah.
The story always has legs. And the thing that gets to me is that it's such a matter of timing. If we hadn't gotten on to Pete Rose, let's say it took 2 more years, which is a relatively small amount of time, for us to actually catch on to what was going on there, and he'd been elected already, there was no mechanism in which to throw him out. He'd be in,
right,
and we'd never have any of this debate. Really bizarre.
Asterisk, I say asterisk. Use the asterisk.
Yeah, I think I kind of side with you on this one. We'll talk about the Women's World Cup soccer tournament coming up next in the original Rochester Press Box. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. You know, we're taking a bit of a risk here because the way we sort of tape and air the show, we're giving the United States a quarterfinal win over China, which the way they're playing, Mike, is kind of dangerous. What has this team done for you so far?
I think they've made everybody nervous. I think even the people that are the biggest fans, and look, who's not pulling for Abby? We're all pulling for her to finally get this done, but she's been off her game a little bit. Her teammates have been off. They look like a team that, I'll be honest with you, it looks like a team that isn't well prepared and isn't well coached. And I don't know enough about the game to know what Jill Ellis has done. But in terms of like the vibe, the whole thing, how they play amongst each other. I know Alex Morgan was hurt. They just don't seem to be in sync. And they have gotten by. They have done enough. Their defense has been good. And their goalie, who no one wants to root for, has been spectacular so far. I mean, she's barely given up she's given up 1 goal coming into that game.
Probably the best thing they have going for them.
It is, because their defense, and when they've been beaten, she's been the one to stop them. So they just seem out of sync. I think if you're a fan of this team, you want to see them win, you just have to hope that it's going to hit at the right time.
I'm just happy I know where the game is going to be. On Monday, I couldn't find it, and now I know where it is. But I think the main thing, too, is that, you know, when it comes to Women's World Cup, we know the U.S. is elite. They know they're pretty elite. I'm just nervous. I think everybody's kind of nervous because I think we're waiting for that one team that says, you know what, you guys think you're good. We've got your number. And whether it happens this weekend or next week, we just assume the women's team is going to be in the finals. And hopefully they don't assume that. I don't think they approach it that way. But there's this concern of, we know why we watch sports, for upsets.
Yeah, you can't read their minds and stuff.
Yeah.
They play to me like a team that's afraid to lose.
I was the only one who predicted that China would win. I don't know.
Thank you, Steve. Now we're covered.
Either way.
That's all I have to say.
Well, you hear that, well, they haven't played their best game.
Yeah.
Is a good thing or a bad thing? That they haven't played it, or that there is room for them to get better?
No, I think it's a bad thing, because this is one game, you're out. And we see the way this game is played, that it really doesn't take a lot. You can be, the game the other night, they're playing Colombia, and, Abby misses the penalty kick, and all of a sudden you think to yourself, wow, if they give up, you talk about pressure. You drop down in one of these games down 1-0, and you're trying to come back, and these little things aren't happening. So they've needed a game where they've put up 4, 5, 6 goals and just blasted somebody, and it has not happened. They do. I agree. They look like a team trying not to lose. Now, maybe they'll play better against the best teams. Yeah. That's what you can hope for when they go against, whether it's France or Germany, whoever.
And we've never seen Abby look quite so vulnerable. She's always been such the superstar and the rock of this team. Now they're trying to spot her minutes. She misses that penalty kick.
This is it for her. This is think about it. Is she going to be there in another couple of years? Probably not. So the pressure is on double because this is your last shot.
And people are taking shots at her, too. But again, that's the world we live in, no matter who it is. But here she is at that level for the longest time. And when she doesn't deliver, she gets the criticism.
Like it or not, when we return. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. You know, this was a big, coming off the U.S. Golf Open, Tariq, this was a big one for any number of reasons. I thought it was a page-turner. How did you react to it?
Well, I was watching Dustin Johnson the whole time. He seems to have this little thing about him where I'm not quite sure where he's going to bring his game and if it's going to come. The vertical thing, everything that goes along with him, he's a mess, but then you kind of see if he can sort of channel it. He lost it. Spieth is the perfect guy for golf. He's clean, he's smart, he's young, and he says exactly what you want him to say. But you need these different characters winning. It worked out the way they needed it to, especially for Fox's first time at it. I think it worked very well, and it got the audience they needed, and the ratings were up.
Yeah, you know, Day had the vertigo problem. Right. Johnson and Spieth, of course, great finish. And the fact that Tiger Woods was totally a non-factor in it. I think it's finally, for the very first time, Michael, safe for us to watch golf without regard to what Tiger Woods is doing.
Because we don't expect Tiger to be in there. And there's other great players. I still am going to tell you, I'm not giving up on Tiger. I'm giving up for him right now. Because it's not a minor problem. It's major problems with his game. So we don't see him in there. In terms of that tournament, spectacular. Spieth, you're right. He says what we want him to say, but he also has a little edge of cockiness that I really like in him. Like he knows he's good, and he believes it, but he's very focused. But the one thing I want people to remember, look, I fell for Dustin Johnson. I mean, here's this guy, does everything you want coming down the stretch, comes back, and he misses that putt. And I hear people just crushing the guy. And I think to myself, we love Spieth. He's been a killer. He's been getting it done. The 17th hole, Spieth blew a 3-shot lead and missed a short putt. That's golf. If you ever played the sport, sometimes that 2.5, 3-foot putt might as well be 12. So don't think it can't happen to anybody. Spieth came through on the last hole. He missed his chance at eagle that could have put it away. And Dustin Johnson did everything right except finish it off. I would have liked to seen the playoff.
This is a great tournament. In terms of Tariq made mention of the fact that it was Fox's first try. I mean, they gave us a whole bunch of new things to consider, I thought.
First of all, we're calling you Michael now. Is that the deal?
That go by.
I like that. I thought Fox did a great job. It fit in perfectly with the venue too. I mean, I like the fact that they had the tracer on every shot. You never know where the ball's going. Half the time,
and you don't know if the tracer knows where it's going either.
But I mean, you watch
it
guys
looks
tee
the
off.
same every time.
Yeah, it does, I guess. But you know how far he's got to hit the ball to reach, that area. So he has a nice, easy shot in to hit the green. I like the way they did it. Every once in a while, they lost track of the ball in the fairway because you saw cameras like panning around a little bit. And I know it's not easy to shoot golf, but I think for the most part, it was great for watching in a bar. If you don't have to hear what's going on, you could watch and really follow everything that was happening.
I know we're a Fox affiliate, and I'm not going to, because it is their first time doing it, but how do you have Greg Norman in the booth and somebody doesn't say to him, can you relate to a guy? Now, his implosion in the Masters was over a period of time.
Yep.
He lost majors in the most incredible ways, guys chipping out of the bunker and everything else. And instead, it was left. They never really asked him the questions, and I think they lost out in a few places. They did have a tough venue to start with because you said lost on the fairway. I couldn't even tell what the fairway was half the time that they were playing.
When I was watching on Thursday, it looked like they were playing at a landfill.
Yeah,
you know,
I've heard
with
that
the trains going by, and it was pretty cool though.
That's good, Mike. Like it or not, Jose Tabata gets hit by a pitch with 2 strikes in the last out of a perfect game for Max Scherzer.
I wanted to see. Yeah, I guess I look at it and think, is the guy really trying to get hit by a pitch to break up a perfect game? I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. I mean, maybe you try to work a walk. I wouldn't be thinking in that mentality. It's a no-hitter. My thought is I'm going to get a hit. I guess you're going to do that. You get a hit to break up a no-hitter. You did something. You get hit by a pitch, really? All you did was take something away from another guy. I guess maybe he did it on purpose. I don't know. But no, I don't like it if he did. But also, if Scherzer throws a better pitch, he'd probably strike him out.
I've seen guys, I see you poo-pooing this whole thing.
Yeah.
I've seen guys stand there stoically and allow themselves to get hit by a pitch. He dipped his arm. I thought that was absolutely an appalling moment for the sport of baseball.
Do you want to be the guy who's known for that, though?
But he is. Now
he
you
is.
are.
Now,
that's why I'm with
no
you.
choice. He made that decision.
How many times is he known as a get-hit-by-pitch guy? I mean, if you look at his stats,
He wasn't known for anything.
No.
He is now.
Well, that's true.
But that's what I'm saying is you come up in that moment, the thing is, I'm going to get a hit here. I'm breaking this thing up. Get hit by a pitch, again, it's more like a groan, like, ugh, that's really how we broke it
I've
up.
never seen any umpire basically call that play that he meant to do it. I've maybe seen it once or twice in all years of baseball.
It's only happened that many times.
I mean, if that, I just don't understand. You want to break this thing up. Go get a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, the game is about going to get a hit. Go get a hit or make him throw 4 balls. That's it.
And I like how Max Scherzer took the high road in the whole thing, too.
He still got his no-hitter.
Right.
Just would have been something.
Yeah, but for whatever. Unfinished business when we return.
And you don't need to be Native American to realize it is offensive. And it's not politically correct. It's the right thing to do.
He was an idiot for throwing him that pitch. The guy's phenomenal. He had no reason to give him anything, especially a fastball to hit.
It's simply that these two guys, Ronaldo and Tom Brady, are too good looking.
I like it, just don't admit to it.
Everybody wants to hate on the best in the world. He's here to stay, and he wants to build something big time.
The bottom line is, still nobody's going to like A-Rod.
Welcome back. This is the original Rochester Press Box. Time for unfinished business. Tariq, go first.
Well, Knick fans, according to our GM, he's doing a great job. 17 wins last year. He's doing a great job. He says, okay, yes, I shed some salary, but wasn't that the plan before you became the GM? It was, because I knew what the plan was, to rebuild the organization. You brought in a new coach, a rookie coach, not your first choice. Steve Kerr goes to Golden State, but you bring in your triangle offense and it doesn't work. You've got the right coach, you've made these right moves, you've got rid of a player in J.R. Smith, who the Knicks didn't want on the team anyway, Tyson Chandler, who the Knicks really did want to keep, Maman Shumpert, who the Knicks really wanted to keep. I don't understand how you think you're doing a great job. Your job is yet to be determined yet. This upcoming season puts a lot of pressure on you. Draft picks and who can you court to come play with Carmelo Anthony. Your job is incomplete. You get in NA, really, not available because I can't give you a great evaluation yet. Your job's not done.
What has always been curious to me about Phil Jackson, every good idea in sports, all sports, gets copied. He's on an island with this triangle offense and has been for years. Why hasn't anybody else tried to do this? What is it about this offense and him that...
Well, there's a few things. One, triangle offense works a lot better when you have Kobe or when you have Michael Jordan. And two, it was the triangle offense, but there were times in that triangle where the plan was give it to Michael and let him make something happen. Again, he's got the rings, he's got the titles. He can say this is what it is, but it really doesn't work unless you have the absolute
Has
right
the game
players.
passed him by?
In the new NBA, it has.
Well, in the new NBA has passed him by, and especially since he's in a position where unless he's made, and we don't know what deal he'll make on the draft night, I mean, the Knicks don't have a first-round pick next year. They don't have second-round picks this year. I mean, they're not in a position to go forward, and I don't know who that free agent is they think they're going to get, unless it's LeBron James.
They have a lot of money, but who wants to come?
Yeah.
Stevie, fix the All-Star game for us.
Yes, I have a great plan. Everyone's critical about Kansas City is going to be going up against the National League All-Stars. First of all, it's all a matter of the fan vote, and if you have passionate fans, they should be able to have the say. How about this idea? No one likes the idea of Kansas City going up against the National League All-Stars. I like the idea, and I'd take it one step further. Starting next year, the team that wins the World Series goes up against a team of All-Stars. First of all, it's a reward for winning the World Series. Secondly, you would have a true team of All-Stars going up against the World Series winner. We wouldn't have to have a player from every team. We wouldn't have to have some guy. Why is this guy on the All-Star team? Because he plays for the Cubs? I say let the Major League Baseball champion play against a team of All-Stars in the midseason classic.
They'd still be voting all the Royals in, though. You'd have the Giants playing Kansas City again.
Well, that's a good point there. But, but we'd have a true all-star team.
Yeah, it's an interesting proposal.
Yeah, no one likes it, though.
It's probably not going to happen.
No, of course not. But
The tradition, because baseball gets so buried in the tradition. It's
Yeah.
been the American against the National League forever, and it's going to be a tough thing to change, I think.
Might be a better chance of that happening than China beating the U.S. I guess we
Would
won't
you?
know.
Okay, Michael.
Maybe it's already
Predicted.
happened. All right, speaking of baseball, something happened in the game the other night in the Cubs game where a guy goes and grabs a foul ball, actually leans into play to take it away from a Dodgers guy, and he's got the baby strapped to his chest. And a lot of people think it's adorable, and they're watching it, and the guy's reaching, and he goes for the ball, and he's got the baby there. And I look at it, and I think, I don't think it's adorable. I think the guy's an idiot. And he's sitting down the first base line. Now, if you've been to baseball games, you know that is the most dangerous place to be, first or third base line. You have this child, a baby, strapped to your chest. Then he's reaching up for a foul ball, again, because he wants to be on TV, because everybody wants their moment there, and he's reaching into play, and he's cheering. I even have heard Cubs fans saying this is going to break the curse. It's the Bartman end of it. First of all, they called interference, and they lost the game, but let's get past that. Here's my thinking. Leave the baby home, and don't have the baby strapped to your chest. And in light of what's happened recently in sports, I think there's 3 places that we don't really want to see babies. They don't belong at the moment. One is on a player's lap while he's doing a post-game news conference. I love Riley Curry, but she shouldn't have been there. 2, any movie theater. And I think we can all agree on that. Leave the baby home. And 3, strapped to your chest trying to catch a foul ball. God forbid something happened to that little kid so you could have your moment. Leave the baby home.
All right, I moved here almost 30 years ago. Didn't know anybody in town. Had a newborn. I wanted to check out the Red Wings. We brought our son to the game. He was like 3 weeks old. And, if you don't have a babysitter, you can't let your life stop because you have a
But don't
child.
sit in a place where you could get hit by a line drive.
target
I think
practice.
it really is dangerous. If you're not paying great attention, just make you get hurt.
Well, yeah, and we did.
Well,
you're
so
sorry.
Thank you,
Argue
Stevie.
with that one?
And just again, you picked China.
Yes.
Michael, thank you
Yes,
very
thank
much. Steve, pleasure
Stephen,
to have you
it's
as
Stephen,
always.
please.
Stephen. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on the original Rochester Press Box.